Hi, I'm Dr. Joan Friedman. It's Twin Tuesday again. You've heard me speak a lot about how some twins, have a lot of difficulty making romantic attachments because they tend to bring their very codependent attachment model into new relationships without really much awareness or thought about what it is they're doing or thinking, because it's just something that they've habitually done, is to think about somebody else's needs or feelings and accommodate to them other than thinking about their own needs. And this has happened a lot. This is a young man, an identical male in his mid-30s, who's really ready and looking for a mature relationship. And yet his string of old relationships has a repeating pattern in it, which is he ends up being who they want him to be in the relationship. And then, of course, that sours because at the end, he can't stand who he's become. And he's also now resentful of the person that he's been with. And so he's been looking for love for a long time. He met someone recently, and it's very frightening for him, of course, but he really feels a very deep connection for this person. And he was talking about it, and it's new. And there are certain things, of course, in new relationships that people need to consider, which is your moral standard, your values, your viewpoints. And sometimes they're deal breakers. For example, if one person wants to have a baby and the other one doesn't, that's usually a deal breaker. Or if there are big religious differences that can't be worked out, that's a deal breaker. And so this gentleman has a specific issue that probably is a deal breaker with this person that he's in love with, or learning to be in love with, falling in love with. And he's frightened. He's frightened to death, obviously, because of the pain of it possibly not working out, of his feeling abandoned, of his feeling fearful. But the interesting thing that he said when I brought this up, his response was, "Oh gosh, I don't think I can mention that. That would burst his bubble." And so I said to him, "Well, but what about your bubble? You need to have your own bubble and your own feelings and your own situations and your own ideas and your own values. And it's important for you to think about that first rather than feeling like, oh my God, it's not going to work out if I tell him that this particular value of his is something I can't live with." So of course, it's very tricky and it's very sad. And we all seem to accommodate in many ways in relationships to avoid any kind of painful end results. But when he said to me, "I'm going to burst his bubble," it was basically his first line was, "I am really going to upset him," rather than thinking about it down the line that I'm going to be really upset. So if you can think of both those things, then it feels like you're on the right course. But if you're only thinking about how the other person is going to react and not think about your own reactions, then, that continues to be a problem and probably in the end would have a poor result anyhow. So I hope this made sense. And I thank you for listening.